Today we're going to learn about the different methods of payment. First, there's cash. What is it? Currency, bills, coins, dollars. The advantages is it's accepted at most stores, most places. It's easy to give gifts, and you cannot overdraw account. You don't need a bank account to use cash. Some disadvantages: you cannot use for online purchases. There's risks when mailing cash. If it's lost or stolen, you can't get the money back. There's no way to prove it was yours to begin with. And also, if you have a lot of money, it's best to put it in a bank so that you can earn interest, because if you have cash, you cannot earn interest, like in savings. For a check, that's a written document instructing a bank to pay the noted amount of money from one account to another. Advantages: there's the physical copy recorded. It's convenient for mailing. It's the best type of currency, best type of money to use when mailing something. It can be accepted when cards aren't. You don't need a bank account to receive the funds. Some disadvantages: checks must be purchased. There's fees if insufficient funds, and that's called bounced, or if a check bounces. So if a check bounces, that means there wasn't enough money in the account, and there could be a big fee for that. It's not accepted everywhere, and postage is required when mailing. For debit cards, that's a card linked to a personal bank account used for purchases. It's convenient, it's a quick transaction, it's accepted by most businesses, and funds are withdrawn from linked checking account. You can also use this at ATMs for cash withdrawal. There's security measures in place. There's a little chip reader. So in case it ever does get stolen or lost, you can get the funds back. There are fees for overspending money that you do not have in your bank account, so you need to keep track of expenses. You are limited to your current funds and account, and sometimes the bank may set more limits. Even if you have the money, they might limit you to maybe $2,000 a month. And you cannot build your credit score. For credit cards, that's a card that can be used to borrow money from a bank or business to make purchases. Proper use can build your credit score. And the higher this credit score, the better that'll be for getting a loan later for a house or car. It's convenient and accepted by most businesses. There's incentive programs. If you pay off your credit card, use it and pay off your bills on time, you might get points. Some credit cards, you can get free airline tickets. And you can pay off expensive items through monthly payments. There's also security measures in place. Now, interest and debt can build very quickly. Improper use can lower your credit score. You must be approved for a card. There is a spending limit, and it depends on your credit score and your income, and you must keep track of spending. Store value card, that's another word for a gift card. It's a prepaid gift card to be used for a specified business. It's a common gift. Big advantage, it's already paid for, so it doesn't affect your bank account, and you can't overspend with it. You're limited to use at certain store. If you have a Chick-fil-A gift card, you can't use it at Whataburger. If lost or stolen, you can't get the money back, and you're limited to amount on the card. Then there's online banking, and that's electronic payment through the internet. It saves time, it's convenient and user-friendly, and you can use an app on your smartphone. It gives you the ability to buy online. But beware of insecure websites or Wi-Fi providers, because they can steal your bank information. Of course, you need the internet connection, and you can easily overspend with a click of a button. All right, for each situation below, identify which form of payment is being described by recording the correct number. Some will be used more than once. Forrest bought a pair of shoes by swiping his card at the store. He'll actually pay the balance at the end of the month. Since it's at the end of the month, that is a hint that it's the credit card. Number 2. Lead by some joggers for $75 from Academy by swiping a card that had an initial balance of $75. His balance in his bank account has not changed, but his card no longer has money on it. So that is an example of a store gift card. C. Fernando drove to his bank, made a withdrawal, and then drove to the mall to purchase an outfit for his upcoming school dance. What he used since he withdrew cash, and that's what he's paying for the outfit. Ellie went out to eat with friends and paid by swiping a card. The cost of her meal was immediately taken out of her linked account. That's an example of a debit card. Ryan had to make a purchase at Best Buy but could only spend $25. He wanted a game that cost $60, so he was unable to buy it because there was not enough money loaded on the card. That's a gift card. And you could also combine payment methods. For example, he could have used the $25 gift card and then paid the rest with cash or a different type of card. Jaden purchases an $800 road bike, but he ended up paying $892.15 by the time it was paid off because of interest. That's an example of credit card usage. Then G, Julie purchased a movie ticket and popcorn, and the cashier gave her 70 cents in change. When there's change exchange, that's an example of cash. Evaluate each scenario below to give advice and reflect on the various methods of payment. Every method of payment has its pros and cons. List what you think might be the greatest risk of each type of payment. So a big risk for cash is it's easy to lose. It's not secure. You can't get it back if it's lost. Usually you're out of luck. Now, credit card, it's so easy to overspend, and you could, interest can add up and debt can build up. So interest that adds up. For debit cards, you need to watch out that you're overspending if it's not in your account. So there's a fee for overspending. For checks, beware that there's sufficient funds in the check, so there's a fee for bounced checks. Bounced. It needs to clear. Marlise has both a credit card and debit card, but she's having a hard time knowing when to use her credit card versus her debit card. What are some suggestions or pieces of advice you could give to Marlise? So usually if it's a bigger purchase and you need more time to pay it off, maybe make some monthly payments instead of pay it all off at once, that's a good example to use your credit card. There will be some interest for borrowing that money, but you don't have to pay it all off at once. Usually for a smaller purchase, if you want to avoid having interest, that's a good one to use your debit card for. And it depends. What's more important, avoiding interest or building your credit? If you want to build your credit, use your credit card. But if you want to completely avoid interest, use your debit card, as long as you have enough funds. Number 4, Brielle works at a fast food restaurant, and she has noticed that people who are paying with credit cards end up spending more on average than people who are paying with cash. Why do you think that might be the case? If you have cash, let's say you have $30 on you for a restaurant, you're gonna be careful that you don't spend over that because you can see the physical amount of money you have. Whereas a credit card, oh, you can just pay for it later. It's also harder. It's harder to keep track of spending. With a card. Especially if you think, oh, I'll just pay it off later. Number 5, your grandmother sent you a $50 iTunes gift card. What are the advantages and disadvantages to this gift? So let's start with the advantage. It's already paid for. So thanks, Grandma. It's a free gift. Some disadvantage. One disadvantage, a big one, is you can only use it for iTunes. Only for iTunes. So if you don't download many songs from iTunes, or you probably would have preferred an Amazon gift card or something else, you can only use it for that. Okay, on this part, financial responsible decisions, you can read through this on your own, but it talks about responsible financial behavior, and there's different categories. Planning for the future, it's important to invest in yourself, whether it's investing in your education. Pay yourself first, it's putting money towards your education, and save early, save often. Another category, avoid overspending. Live within your means. Avoid impulsive spending, be a smart shopper. Then there's avoid throwing money away, throwing away money. Shop around for a credit card, pay your bills on time. Pay off your credit card each month, keep track of your spending, and read notices from financial institutions. So here we're going to use those bolded phrases I just read from the last page to identify responsible financial behavior for each situation. Cara has a bank register. She records all her transactions, including debit card purchases, electronic payments, and deposits. After each transaction, Cara balances the bank register. This is an example of she keeps track of her spending. Keep track of your spending. Daniel wants to purchase a larger house. He could get a house loan, but he might not be able to afford the monthly payments. He decides it is not something he can afford at this time. Live within your means. Edwin is graduating from college. He has accumulated $15,000 in student loans. However, he will now be making $20,000 more per year than he could have without a bachelor's degree. Invest in yourself. Jaden uses his credit card to purchase gas, groceries, and for eating out. He has a balance of $311.56. Jaden decides not to purchase concert tickets so he can pay off his credit card. Pay off your credit card each month. Ariel has her bank transfer $50 from each paycheck into her savings account. That way she never sees the money and will not spend it. Her savings account is growing quickly. Pay yourself first or save early and save